Welcome to our deep dive on the 529 state tax trap. In this video, we'll explore why an attractive state income tax deduction for 529 contributions can create a future tax surprise, especially for families who may move states. We'll explain the recapture rule, the new 529 to Roth IRA rollover, how state policies differ, and how to evaluate whether a state deduction is worth it. Stay with us as we include diagrams, a decision framework, examples, and short quizzes to test your knowledge. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll cover 529 basics. Next, we'll unpack the recapture rule. Then, we'll look at the Roth IRA rollover provision. After that, we'll walk through a decision framework and some numbers. We'll include quizzes to reinforce learning, and then wrap with key takeaways. Finally, we'll show an important disclaimer. Let's begin with the basics. A 529 plan is a tax-advantaged account designed to help families save for education expenses. Earnings grow tax-free, and withdrawals for qualified education expenses are also tax-free at the federal level, and usually at the state level too. Some states offer a state income tax deduction or credit for contributions to their own in-state plan. While these upfront tax breaks are appealing, you need to understand the future implications if you move or use funds for non-qualified purposes. Here are quick facts. First, 529 earnings grow tax-free when used for qualified education expenses. Second, many states offer deductions or credits for contributions to their specific 529 plans, providing an immediate tax benefit. Third, moving to another state or making a non-qualified withdrawal can trigger recapture of prior state tax benefits, meaning you may owe back the deduction or credit, plus possible interest. Fourth, there's a new federal rule allowing certain 529 funds to be rolled over into a beneficiary's Roth IRA, but it doesn't override every state's recapture policies, so state-level treatment still matters. The recapture rule means your original state may claw back the state tax deduction or credit it gave you in earlier years. Recapture triggers vary. Some states recapture when you make a non-qualified withdrawal. Others may recapture even when you do a Roth IRA rollover after moving, depending on their specific laws. Still others only recapture for clearly unqualified uses, not for rollovers or qualified expenses. Because states differ substantially, you must verify the rules for your original state and any state you move to. Maintain detailed records, contribution amounts by year, your state of residence for each contribution, and the nature of each distribution. Let's compare the near-term benefits with the long-term costs. On the positive side, the state deduction or credit gives you immediate tax savings, which can encourage consistent contributions. In some states, the credit is especially valuable. On the other hand, the deduction can come with strings attached. If you move, your prior state may attempt to recapture those tax benefits. You may also face administrative complexity and potential fees if the in-state plan isn't competitively priced. This is why focusing on low fees and strong investment options can be more valuable than a marginal annual tax break. Here are hypothetical scenarios. In a generous state, contributing $8,000 and taking an $8,000 deduction at a 5% state tax rate saves $400 per year, totaling $4,000 over 10 years. However, if the state is aggressive about recapture, and you move or take a non-qualified withdrawal, you could owe those savings back plus interest. In a moderate state, the deduction and rate result in $200 of savings per year and $2,000 over 10 years, with recapture primarily focused on non-qualified uses. In a state without deductions, there is no immediate tax savings, but you have fewer strings attached and can freely choose the best low-fee, high-performance plan. Next, the new 529 to Roth IRA rollover. This federal provision lets you move up to a lifetime maximum of $35,000 from a 529 to the beneficiary's Roth IRA, provided the 529 has been open for at least 15 years. The rollover is subject to annual IRA contribution limits, and the beneficiary generally needs enough earned income to support the rolled amount within those limits. Importantly, contributions made within the prior 5 years typically cannot be rolled over. While this flexibility is significant, it does not automatically override state-level recapture rules. Some states may still recapture prior deductions if you execute the rollover after moving or under certain conditions. Always verify your original state's treatment before relying on this strategy. Here are the constraints. There is a lifetime rollover cap of $35,000. The 529 account must have been open for at least 15 years. Rollovers count toward the beneficiary's annual IRA contribution limit and generally require that the beneficiary has compensation sufficient to allow the contribution. Additionally, amounts contributed in the most recent 5 years typically cannot be rolled over. These rules can affect timing and feasibility, so it's essential to plan ahead and confirm current IRS guidance and plan policies. Quiz time. The question is, which situation is most likely to trigger state recapture of prior 529 deductions? Option A. Using funds for qualified tuition while still living in the original state. Option B. Moving to another state and later making a non-qualified withdrawal. Option C. Keeping funds invested for more than 15 years and never withdrawing. Option D. Investing in a low-fee out-of-state plan with no deduction. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. Moving to another state and then making a non-qualified withdrawal is a classic trigger for recapture. While state rules are different, this scenario frequently results in the original state demanding repayment of prior deductions or credits. Qualified tuition payments typically do not trigger recapture. Merely leaving funds invested does not trigger recapture, and using an out-of-state plan with no deduction doesn't involve recapturing a benefit you never received. This timeline shows the life cycle of a 529 account in relation to the Roth rollover eligibility. At year 0, the account is open. From years 1 through 14, the focus is on contributing and investing. At year 15, the account meets the age requirement for rollover eligibility. From year 15 onward, partial rollovers may be considered, subject to the beneficiary's annual IRA contribution limits and the overall $35,000 lifetime cap. At any point when moving across states, you should check your original state's recapture rules. Likewise, any non-qualified withdrawal at any time can potentially trigger recapture and taxes depending on your state's policies. Here's a step-by-step framework. First, identify whether your state offers a deduction or credit, and exactly how recapture works. Second, estimate the value of the tax savings and compare that to plan fees and the quality of investment options. Third, evaluate your likelihood of moving and the timing relative to your child's education and the 15-year rollover clock. Fourth, map out eligibility for the 529 to Roth rollover, noting annual limits and the lifetime cap. Finally, keep detailed records of contributions, residency, and distributions, and revisit your plan before any transfer, rollover, or withdrawal. Let's do a quick numeric lens. A simple way to estimate value is to multiply the allowed state deduction by your state marginal tax rate to get annual tax savings. For example, $8,000 times a 5% rate equals $400 saved this year. Then ask whether that annual savings is worth potential recapture risk or reduced flexibility. Also, compare investment fees. If your in-state plan costs 40 basis points more than a best-in-class alternative, and you expect a $50,000 balance, that cost difference is about $200 per year, reducing or even eliminating the benefit of the deduction. These comparisons help you make a more informed choice. Second quiz. The scenario is that you contributed $8,000 annually to your in-state plan, saved $400 per year for 5 years, then moved, and now plan a Roth rollover. What should you check first? Option A, whether the $35,000 lifetime limit applies to you. Option B, your old state's recapture policy on rollovers after a move. Option C, if your current state offers a new deduction. Option D, whether qualified education expenses are tax-free federally. Pause the video to consider. We will discuss the answer in the next section. The correct answer is B. The crucial first step is to check your original state's recapture policy regarding rollovers after a move. While the federal rules allow certain 529 to Roth IRA rollovers, some states recapture past deductions when you execute that rollover as a non-resident. The lifetime cap and other federal limits are important, but understanding potential state recapture determines whether the rollover will create an unexpected state tax bill. Here are the key takeaways. First, state deductions create immediate savings but can lead to future recapture if certain conditions are met. Second, because rules differ widely by state, you must examine your state's fine print. Third, the Roth rollover is valuable but does not automatically negate state-level recapture. Fourth, in many cases, prioritizing low fees and strong investment options may outweigh a marginal state deduction. Fifth, comprehensive documentation and periodic reassessment, especially before moving or making withdrawals, can help you avoid costly surprises. To summarize, identify your state's deduction and recapture rules before contributing. Run the numbers to compare any tax savings against planned fees and investment performance. Plan ahead for potential moves and the 15-year Roth window. Keep detailed records of contributions and distributions. When uncertain, it can be prudent to prioritize flexibility, low fees, and long-term growth. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and is not tax, legal, or investment advice. State laws, tax rules, and federal guidance can change, and individual circumstances vary. Consult a qualified tax or financial professional to evaluate your specific situation before making decisions. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you understand the 529 state tax trap, please like, share, and subscribe for more practical insights. Tell us your state and experiences in the comments so others can learn from real-world scenarios.